Hey everyone, it's Linus. So the other day someone asked if I had any tips for starting locks because I do mention that my regimen is really low key and I don't like to give advice to people. I just document what I do to my own hair. So I don't really talk a lot about starting locks and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. I do have my book out where I did go into detail about like tips on starting locks and maintaining locks in addition to like diet and like lifestyle choices that will help your hair grow long or thick, healthy basically. But I don't have a lot of videos talking about straightforward advice. So I'm just gonna, from the top of my head, try to think of the most important tips in my mind that I could think of. So the first thing I'm gonna say is right off the bat, and you can take this with a grain of salt, use light products in your hair. Don't use heavy things in your hair like wax or what is it, mineral oil, anything heavy early on in your lock journey because it's going to get stuck. It's going to be hard to get your hair clean. You want your hair to be as clean as possible during the beginning of your lock journey. Like, I know that the heavier products like that, they have more of a hold and you're worried about your hair unraveling, but it takes too much of a toll for you to go that route. I know that for me, I use really light products in my hair. My hair is pretty fluffy. The porosity is okay. Like, it holds moisture in. If I spritz it, it keeps in moisture. It's not dry or anything like that. But at the same time, I did have someone use a really greasy product in my hair one time, and that almost set me back because I had to do an apple cider vinegar rinse to try to get rid of it, and I put baking soda in there too because it was so greasy and like leaves were getting stuck in it. But the biggest thing with that is 5.5 years later, I still had lint in the nape of my neck. And when I combed out the lint that I had, it wasn't like fluffy lint. It was like kind of greasy. And I kind of think that because you start at the nape of your neck when you're interlocking or retwisting, I think the person that put the product that didn't react well in my hair, the greasy product, I'm not going to name it. I think that's what they did. They started at the nape, and that's the reason that these two locks specifically have that kind of build up, and none of my other locks have that in it. So you don't want to use any really heavy products in your hair. They do make a lot of products that are lighter. My favorites are Murray's Lock Gel and Talia Wajid retwisting products, only because they're aloe based and, well, Talia Wajid is at least. They're clear and they have like a medium hold to them, so I don't really worry about like residue and buildup when I use stuff like that. Another thing that I stress is to keep your hair covered a lot to prevent lint from getting in your hair because you're really early in the stage of your lock journey and your hair is just starting to lock. So again, with the lint thing or the buildup thing, if lint gets stuck into your hair at this point, when your hair locks, it's gonna be trapped in there and it's gonna be pretty hard to get out. So I sleep on a satin pillowcase and I have lock socks to cover my hair. Random like lock socks. One is from an actual woman that makes them. Another one is from like an Amazon seller that sells these like multi-use scarves. So I use mine as lock socks. And I've seen at the beauty supply store that they sell dread caps for like $1.99, and they're not real satin or silk, but they're a satin or silk material, and it just goes over the hairline and like about this much of your hair. And I get lazy sometimes, so I do sleep on a satin pillowcase just in case my scarf falls off or I forget to put it on. So when it goes back to that too, if you're sleeping and your hair's covered, that's going to be a great way to prevent breakage and friction because sometimes if you're sleeping on a cotton pillowcase or cotton sheets, your hair's going to rub up against it and dry out, and it's also an easy way for your hair to break. So those are 2 points. The third point I'm going to say is water. And when I say water, of course you should drink a lot of water. Your hair is going to grow extremely fast, your nails are going to grow extremely fast, your skin's going to get smoother if not clearer. Like, water is always amazing to drink. So you definitely want to drink enough water if you want your hair to like be healthy, strong, and long. But when you talk about water too, the 2 things that I did a lot of, and some people might not agree with this, is I would wash my hair as often as possible. And when you're in the starter lock phase, especially if you have 2-strand twist or braid locks as opposed to like comb coils that can come out easily, you can wash your hair as often as you want. And in a lot of cases, the water and the friction is just going to like make your hair even more tangled, and it's going to make your locks lock faster. And just for me, I just liked having like clean hair and feeling like I still could do what people with loose natural hair were doing. Like, I was in hair school, I was washing my hair like once a week and letting it air dry, and I was just keeping it clean, and I felt good because I like washing my hair. You shouldn't be afraid to wash your hair. I know that it does unravel sometimes. My hair, you can't see it now because a lot of my curly ends were cut off with my recent trim, but my hair was pretty loosely curled in some areas, and I just had to be patient with unraveling. Like, it took 8.5 months into my lock journey before people even realized I was starting locks, because I had so much loose hair on the ends. But you know, I wouldn't have had it any other way. I wouldn't have wanted to put string in my hair or wash my hair any less or do anything. I felt I needed to do, rather than just be laid back and let my hair do what it would eventually do on its own. And the third thing about water is I did spritz my hair with it was just water. It wasn't even like a water and conditioner mix. It was just water. When I had starter locks, I would just spritz it with water sometimes when I felt like it was dry. It was probably distilled water, but the reason I did that is because if I did decide to put my hair in a ponytail, it would just have more elasticity, it would stretch more. Or if my locks weren't locked all the way yet, they were still kind of curly, I would spritz it and the curly part would spring up and look healthier. Or my hair would feel dry and I'd spritz it and it temporarily feel refreshed. I would spritz my hair with water. I don't know if I would recommend like a water conditioner mix before your hair is fully locked, but I had no problem spritzing my hair with water. It just helped revive my hair and made it more manageable. So if you have a hair type similar to mine, which is pretty porous and kind of curly, like, I would recommend water. And that's basically it. I don't know if these tips were all over the place, but these are just like the main ones that come to mind when I think about tips I have for starting locks. If you have any other questions, please just put them down below, because I once thought about doing another audio recording of my book, the second edition of The Secret to Luscious Locks, but I don't want to. To be honest, I don't want to do that right now. That's not something I'm excited about doing. What I do want to do is the only time I really record videos is when I'm in the mood and when I have the house to myself. So what I've always wanted to do is I wanted to take each chapter and make a video about each chapter of the book. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing in the near future. So all these questions that are like common questions about maintaining locks, starting locks, diet and stuff like that, that will be addressed more in depth if I do make those videos. But this is just laid back advice I have for my own journey and for people, just raw advice on the lowdown of what I did. So if you've watched all the way through, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you later. Ciao.